So a couple weeks ago, I asked my mom, what's a good story to add to my TED Talk? Sorry, I didn't have the clicker. So a couple weeks ago, I asked my mom, what's a good story to add to my TED Talk? See, this is my family. And that lady over there is my mom. So a couple years ago, I got dragged along with her to her yearly doctor's visit. And as we were going up to see the doctor asked, when did you get him? Me and my mom were pretty bamboozled at this moment. My mom looked him in the eyes and said, what do you mean, when did I get him? It says it right on the clipboard in front of you. I gave birth to him. See, the reason I told you this story is to point out how we all have these tiny biases or tendencies.
Jaitan, you're not even scratching the surface. Here, take this out. I got it from here. This idea of unconsciously attributing certain qualities onto certain people, it happens every day, and we don't even realize it. It's called implicit bias. And we're bombarded with this bias by the media, by our schools, and by our friends and family every single day. Implicit bias can come in many forms, but it's usually in three types: affinity bias, confirmation bias, and perception bias. The first is affinity bias, which is the tendency to find people who are similar to you more comforting. For example, a CNN study found that 68% of white people had friends who are all Caucasian. The second type of bias is confirmation bias. This is the tendency to seek evidence for things that we already believe in. For example, people will search up why cats are better than dogs, or why dogs are better than cats, instead of which is better, cats or dogs, even though we all know dogs are better. The third and final type of implicit bias is perception bias. This is the tendency to form stereotypes about a certain group of people. For example, how skinny Asian people who wear glasses and wear braces are usually perceived as.
Take this up. See, implicit bias was granted to us as a tool to process an abundant amount of information quickly. And it did exactly that. It jumps the gap and connects two things. Like when you hear peanut butter, you immediately think jelly. But like all tools, implicit bias can be misused.
See, you're still not seeing the whole picture, Jaitan. See, when that doctor assumed that Jaitan was adopted, that didn't really hurt anyone. But imagine if that were a Supreme Court justice, or a police chief. The decision that these people make can have a real-life impact on the lives of others. A study at UNC Chapel Hill found that racial stereotyping alone could lead people to see a weapon when there was none. This would explain why African Americans make up 17% of the population, yet they account for 25% of police brutality victims.
Gordan, take that up again. You're only scratching the surface. Implicit bias has also corrupted the school system and our workplace. In fact, an African American student is 3 times more likely to get expelled than a white student. But what if your employer was also biased? A study shows that people with names such as Greg or Emily get 50% more callbacks than Jamal or Lakeisha, who have the same exact resumes. In addition, a woman makes 49 cents to the typical man's dollar.
So how do we get rid of these tendencies? The first step is to recognize that you have these biases. The only sure way to make sure you don't do or say something stupid is to think before you act. I also want you to be aware of how school can influence our implicit bias. Remember when we were in kindergarten and girls had to like pink and boys had to like blue? Well, this is a perfect example of how school can influence our implicit bias. So when you guys leave here today, I want you to be aware of how things might be influencing you unconsciously. And I want you to be the change you want to see in the world. Thank you.